Hello guys, Lit here. So this video will be about Blightheart, and Blightheart is one of my favorite strategy in pathofexile. And for this one, I do two testing for two different setup. Both of them perform well, but I like one better than the others. So let's start with the maps. For the maps, both of them will use the same map. Both of them will use T16.5 8 modded, and I have a video how you can farm this yourself. Although you can farm this with this strat too, but this one is harder because the blight boss can be very tanky, especially if you put a very defensive mod like more life SES, monster elemental resistance, or monster physical reductions. The blight boss can be very tough, and you will need a decent amount of DPS to bring the boss down reliably. And if you want to farm a map with this strategy and you have good enough build for it, just look for more maps and you will be fine. And I also tried the mod currency, but I don't really like it. It seems like with mod currency, we're just looking for jackpot, so something like Inaugural Lock, I think. And I don't really like that kind of strategy, so I just stick with more Scarabs because it's very consistent profit. And the next one is the Scarabs. Both of the tests will use Titanic Scarabs, Blade Scarab of the Blightheart, and one Scarab of Nemesis. So this is the core set of the strategy. You will always use these Scarabs, and for the last two, the first test will use Cartography Scarab of Escalations and Cartography Scarab of Corruptions, and for the second test I will use double Scarab of Rifts just to see how strong the Scarab of Rifts is this league. And for the Scarab, there is a few variants that you can try around. For examples, I'm using Horn Scarab of Nemesis. You can use Titanic Scarab of Legends, but Titanic Scarab of Legend basically made the difficulty jump really high. Like for example, if I rate the strategy 7 or 8 out of 10, putting Titanic Scarab of Legend in will immediately make it 11 or 12 out of 10. So it's going to make it really hard. So you will need a very good build to be able to do it with Titanic Scarab of Legends. So this is the other strategy I'm using. Both of them will use the same, although for whips you can argue that there's probably an optimization you can do, and I agree. But for now, for the testing, I will use the same Atlas tree for both of them. So for the Atlas tree, we are basically taking all the maps nodes, all the Scarabs nodes, and something like Remarkable Relic. They're going to give Scarabs found in your map more likely to be less common varieties. And we are targeting Ambush because Ambush Containment is the most expensive one. And we are blocking all the Scarabs except for Harvest, because Harvest Scarab is still pretty good value. And the other one is Ultimatum, because Ultimatum Scarab of Catalyzing is still very expensive. And I also take the Templar Ingenuity. This basically make your tower become a box after the blight ends. And this is also the reason why when you do the blight, you want to make as much T4 tower as possible, because T4 tower will convert into the best box on the blight. And that box does give quite a lot of things. It gives a lot of Scarabs, it gives me Divine, it also gives me Containment, so that boxes is really good. So try to make as much T4 tower as possible. And since we are using Blightheart and we also taking the Blight spawn, one of your lane will fill with blight bosses, so you're not going to run out of like the currency to craft the tower. You will always have that one. So it's just a matter of you actually build a T4 tower that will be converted into box, and that box is going to give you quite a lot of currency too. And for the map device, we are going to choose Blight. And this is because we do not have any blight chance on the Atlas tree, and we also blocking blight on the Atlas tree. Now the blocking, apparently, if you use the map device, even though you block blight on your Atlas, you're still going to get blight because of the map device. And because of that, I'm using blight on the map device. As for the altars, I'm using red altars. So far, red altars works really well for me, better than the blue altars. I don't know why, but I get a lot of currency duplications, I get a lot of quantity, and all that stuff. So I'm just sticking with the red altars. And for the map itself, how I do the map is basically I will go into the map, I will kill the bosses, I will clear the area, try to get as much altar as I can, get all the duplication, currency duplications, scrap duplications, map duplications, and all that stuff. And after I get all the altars, I will go to blight and I will do the blight. And here is the result of the testing. So I do 20 maps for both of them. So for the cost, both of strategy is really cheap because the scrap that we use is pretty cheap. And the T16.5, I assume you can farm it yourself, so I just put 0 on that one. But if you buy it, this can be quite expensive. You will find few of them selling like 80 to 100 C, but a lot of them will start them on 1 div. So the map, if you buy it, is quite expensive. So I will highly suggest just farming yourself. It's a lot easier and it's a lot cheaper to farm it yourself. And on the loot itself, as you can see, both of them, they are pretty much the same. I will say like almost the same value between whips and cartographic Scarab escalation and corruptions. And this is the reason why I think I rather just go with the cartography escalation and corruptions, because with that Scarabs, we do get a lot more T17. If you see on the T70, we got 24. In this one, we got 21. Also, with the first setup, we are using Scarab of Corruptions. The T16.5 that drop is also egg mod, and that one we can use. While on the other strategy where we are using double whips, the T16.5 is drop normal, so you basically sell it or you can use it yourself. It's around 30C each, it's not that expensive. And on the Scarabs, you can also see that the number of Scarabs that we're getting is also more or less the same. It's not that much of a difference between both groups. So both of the group basically give around the same amount of profit, which is around 65 divine after cutting the costs. And I run this map around 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how hard the maps, because I do run all the dangerous mode. So if we want to take it flat, which is in practical, it doesn't really make sense, but that's how people count different per hours. But if we just take that 5 minutes per map, we are basically making almost 40 divine, which is pretty insane in my opinion for this league. And for the group one, you even self-sustain your own maps. So I like the first setup, which is the one that using cartography Scarab of escalations and corruptions, because you also maintaining your own maps. So you basically can just keep going. While the waves, you're not really sustaining your map, they're not getting the map that you use, so you're gonna have to buy them, and that's become a cost. And not to mention, the waves doesn't really make that much of a difference. This is the one thing that are weird, because I remember this one on the previous league on 3.35. Blightheart with waves is pretty good combinations, but on this league, maybe I'm just unlucky because the sample is only 20 maps, but I just don't feel like it make that much of a difference. The other reason is probably because I'm not using Titanic Scarab of Legend, because in 3.25 I do use Titanic Scarab of Legend because we are farming unique. Maybe that is the big reason why. So that's probably for the future, because right now I do not have a character that good enough that can do the Titanic Scarab of Legend. It's really hard. So if you guys want to do this route, I would recommend just go for the first one, which is the one that using Scarab of Corruptions and escalations. You can sell your maps. You get a lot of Scarabs, you get a ton of currency, you basically farm almost everything, and you can also self-sustain your maps. So it's, for me, the first strategy is really good. I'm very happy with it. So that's it for me today. I will leave you guys with the showcase. As usual, if you guys have any questions, leave in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And if this video is helpful, consider like and subscribe. That will help the channel a lot. And thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.